I saw you dancing in a crowded room. You look so happy when I'm not with you. But then you saw me, caught you by surprise. A single teardrop falling from your eye. I don't know why I ran away. I make you cry when I run away. You could have asked me why I broke your heart. You could have told me that you fell apart. But you walked past me like I wasn't there, and just pretended like you didn't care. I don't know why I ran away. I make you cry when I run away. Take me back, 'cause I wanna stay. Save your tears for another, save your tears for another day. Save your tears for another day. I made you think that I would always stay. I said some things that I should never say. I broke your heart like someone did to mine. Now you won't love me for a second time. I don't know why I ran away. I make you cry when I run away. Take me back, 'cause I wanna stay. Save your tears for another. I realize that I'm much too late, and you deserve someone better. Save your tears for another day. Save your tears for another day. Save your tears for another day. Save your tears for another day.
This couldn't happen again. This is that one.
Welcome. We are back. It was an alright day for the market. Nothing too crazy. We pull back a little bit for the S&P. We're going to get to all of that in a second. Tonight's stream, I mean, honestly, there's not a lot to talk about from today. It was just pretty much a rest day, it felt like. So tonight's stream is not going to really be a lot of like recapping from today because not that much happened. It's mainly just going to be focused on, I'll just look at whatever all of you want me to look at tonight. We'll do ticker requests. I still have to cover some stuff, and after that, we're just going to do ticker requests for the most of the stream. So yeah, I'm just going to do the normal rundown. It should only take me like 10 minutes tonight, just give you an update on what I'm seeing on all these charts across the markets. And then after that, you all tell me whatever you want to look at. All right, so hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, check out the links in the description. And let's get going with crypto, Bitcoin. Let's take a look. Our rest day for Bitcoin, it's kind of testing this supply line that we were talking about last night after getting a nice bounce on, I think Sunday it was. Very comfortably above this very important blue inflection zone. It's testing a breakout. Bitcoin's testing a breakout, I think, for the first time since the beginning of this month. And that definitely failed. So hopefully it can keep going. We'll see what happens. Moving on to Ethereum. Another rest day, but it's holding up the gains from Sunday very nicely. You haven't even given up half the gains from Sunday, and you just want to stay above this $1,700 support on Ethereum. Dogecoin, another one, just a lot of rest day today. I mean, not just for crypto, across the board, there's just not going to be a lot to talk about. It feels like we had a crazy rally for a lot of names, especially in stocks last week and then over the weekend for crypto. And then today was just kind of like, all right, first day back, or first day of the week for the market. And people just kind of want to, wait to see you know, what's next. All right, so that's really it for crypto. In terms of like other markets, gold dumping a little bit. I mean, down like 1%, so not dumping, sorry, but did crack under the 200-day moving average. You might actually have some hidden bearish divergence on gold right now developing on the daily. Silver, the same thing, hidden bearish divergence, and we were talking about this last night, this bear flag looking structure. I mean, this is like in my opinion, however you react in the next few days is like the next move for silver for potentially months. Like you're able to hold this, and I think you somehow can rally all the way back up to top of the range. You break this, and I think you're headed down to wherever your next supports are. So very, very critical area for silver. The dollar currency index bouncing up a little bit today. We talked about the 4-hour breakout last night on stream. So it looks like that played out a bit, pulled back a little bit. It's actually looking pretty decent on the 4-hour right now. We'll see if we can just hold this 101 area. The Hang Seng index continuing higher. Wow, very, very strong. So another green day. This is what, the third green day in a row for the Hang Seng index after breaking out of this supply line. Kind of like a dragon pattern as well, like first low over here, second low. Interesting. You're also above this resistance over here. I mean, there's not much up until this 22.4K area for the Hang Seng index, so looks like it's at least outperforming the US market to start the week. And apart from that, the US 10-year continuing higher today. Remember, I said I was very bearish on it over here, and then over here we started talking about that hidden bullish divergence on the daily, the 4-hour bull flag or wedge, however you want to look at it. And you gapped up to break out, and it's ripping right now. So next resistance I see is around like just under 3%, around 2.97 for the US 10-year. The volatility index kind of just holding the same area as Friday. That was the last day for the market. Gapped up and then pretty much filled the gap towards the end of the day. This is a very, very critical area for the VIX. And honestly, it can maybe be easier, at least for tomorrow, the day after, to look at the VIX rather than something like the stock market. And by that I just mean the S&P, but if you take a look at this, it's consistently making these lower highs, right? You got a high over here, a lower high, a lower high, a lower high, and you also have this very clear support area around 25-ish. So what I'd be looking to see is, can you break this lower high trend and make a higher high, which would be bearish for the market, or does it actually give up this support level, crack it, that would be bullish for the market? And you know, let's say we fall into 25, that could give you maybe some more momentum for the S&P to continue higher. Let's say you bounce off these areas, maybe we start losing some volume on the S&P, we start pulling back a little bit, see what happens. So there's the volatility index. Moving on to the S&P 500, down about 0.5% today. If you watched last night's stream, I was saying that I'm looking for a pullback to begin the week. I don't even know, this really didn't feel like much of a pullback. You were green for certain parts of the day, and you didn't really give up much. You gapped up on Friday, you haven't even filled that gap. But it is interesting that you did reject this 415 level we talked about last night on stream. And yeah, my point still stands. I still think that I would like to see this move to retest this area, fill that gap, and then maybe continue higher. Anything's possible, of course. Futures are pretty green right now, up about 0.5%. But that's really it. I mean, you had 3 very huge days last week. You're starting off the week with the doji candle today. I see Keanu in the chat. I saw you tweet that earlier. So you got a doji candle today, kind of just an inside day. You actually broke above Friday's high for a little bit, but you weren't really able to hold it. It is interesting, however, that your volume is still increasing. You're not really losing volume on, you know, something like a rest day like today. You maybe think that there was just low volume, nobody's really doing much. You actually had increased volume. Let's take a look. Yeah, this is your highest volume since May 20th. So in almost pretty much a week, pretty much in a trading week, that's your highest volume. So you actually had higher volume today, a very low type of spread day for the S&P. You had higher volume on than these 3 monster green days, which is interesting. I think it just really shows a lot of indecision. You had buying and selling on both sides today. You really didn't get much of a major move to either direction. We'll see what happens, all right? But going on into lower time frames into tomorrow, let's actually head down to, let's go way down to the 15-minute time frame. And I'm going to chart it like this. All right, a little bit of an ascending broadening wedge. All right, you're actually testing the demand line. If this breaks down, again, I said this last night, But this 407 gap, that gap up from Friday, I'm still looking for this gap to be filled before the markets head higher. I do think that the markets can, overall in times continue higher, but I want to see this gap get filled first. And if we just kind of drop down to this level and we don't show any support there, then I'd probably get a little bit concerned. But this is the type of move I'd like to see. Again, that's just hopeful thinking. There's no way I can predict that with a certainty. I'm just saying that would just be a healthier move rather than the fact that we're already up 10% almost off the lows, like literally almost a week ago, and we haven't really given one pullback, right? I just want to see a healthy pullback, and that's where we're at for the S&P 500. Let me take a look at the chat for a second before we get to the QQQ. Make sure you hit the like button and the subscribe button on your way in. What's up, D, KTF, Jeff, your mom, Pleberate, Tenderfoot, Hoop Around It, Mind War, Yanu, Danny, I Repair, Frank, anybody dropping tickers. I'm going to be looking at ticker requests as soon as I finish like the market breakdown. So we'll be doing ticker requests for most of the stream. I'm going to start that in about 10 minutes. All right. So the QQQ, same thing pretty much as the S&P on the daily. However, you actually lost volume today over here compared to the S&P, which gained. But again, we did have that 4-hour descending broadening wedge breakout. Again, this would be nice to see potentially, but that's just hopeful thinking. And on the 1 hour, maybe just this blue zone. I think really anywhere between 300 to 305-ish could be a backtest area for the QQQ. So you're kind of also getting like these patterns that these could set up short-term pullbacks, right? You have this channel, and again, it doesn't really matter until you break down and you haven't broken down yet. But again, just imagine you crack this level over here that could set up a play down to this gap fill level. So that's the type of move I'm looking for, just for tomorrow, the day after. But again, if that just never confirms, it never confirms. It's only a potential move until you get your confirmation of a breakdown. And then even if you break down from this pattern, you still got to crack these previous highs, because those could also act as a support because they were just your resistance that you just broke above. So that's really where the QQQ is at. If it doesn't want to, fill this gap and it does keep going higher, the next resistance I see is around 316. Moving on to small caps, the Russell 2000. This is just textbook stuff. All right, take a look at this. What was support back in February? Back in January and in February. Not only on Friday, but also today has acted as resistance. Very key 188 level that's being tested on the Russell after it back tested the pre-COVID highs and flipped it into a support. You rallied up until you got to your previous support, and now you're showing resistance there. So for anybody who's new to the streams, prior supports can act as resistances in the future. Prior resistances can act as supports in the future. That's why you want to keep charting them and looking left on your charts and going back in time to spot those areas, those highs and lows. So going down to lower time frames, that triangle played out beautifully on the 1 hour. On the 15-minute, honestly, this is very different. This is very different. We're on, like, if we look at like the QQQ and the SPY, we have like these like upsloping, bearish looking structures. The Russell, however, is kind of like a bull flag looking structure. It's like, I actually didn't even see that earlier today. So this is quite different. This actually could set up a potential continuation, and that would be crazy if we did see like continuation on small caps to the upside and then the large caps start taking a break. I mean, I don't know if we've seen that in a while, but that would just be interesting. But again, we'll see what happens. And then moving on to the ARK ETF, down a few percent today. Looks like it's back testing these previous highs from the 13th all the way to the 19th and 20th of May, trying to flip it into a support. This is, I think, a very key level for the ARK ETF. If you can hold this as support, that could set up a further rally. If you can't, then, I mean, there's a lot of different areas you could look towards. I mean, you have got this low. You could make a demand line over here. We'll see what happens. I would just keep a very close eye on this. All right, so those are the market indices. Nothing too crazy. Pretty quiet day for them. Amazon, however, was up 4% today. Very huge day for Amazon. I think it was almost up. I think it was up like 6% at one point, actually. Just apart from today, Amazon is this bullish cipher pattern, and look what it did. All right, we were just talking about the prior levels acting as support or resistance in the future. This is something identified a couple weeks ago. Okay, these 2018 and 2019 highs flipped into support. And some of you who aren't in premium are probably confused as to why there's this swing trade set up on Amazon. This is a premium swing currently. I alerted Amazon, I think around over here, after it hit the PCZ for the first time, and the stop loss was $19.99. So I actually alerted Amazon over here, probably around the 16th, 17th of May to premium members. It actually dipped down first, tested the support again, but never got stopped out, and now the trade's in profit. So the Amazon swing for premium members had a very nice day today. It is currently up 6% since the entry. And nice gap up day. You held a lot of gains. I mean, just this is like, Amazon's had 3 gap ups in a row. I mean, when is the last time that that's happened? That's actually really crazy. So yet another day. Hopefully you can get a little bit higher. My first target for the swing is 25.20. It's kind of around these highs. Actually, no, it's kind of around these highs over here from a couple of days. And I got a second target at around 27.17 or 27.21 at this gap fill, and then third target just under the 200 moving average. This is how I set up the swing. And again, it all started with the double bottom off the Cypher PCZ. Even had classic bullish divergence on the RSI. So nice move for Amazon. Another name today that went crazy was MU. 1 second. Looks like it's glitching out. Why is it stuck on Amazon? There we go. So MULN said Tuesday testing at the Battery Innovation Center in Indiana showed a solid state polymer cell coming in at 343.28 ampere hour at 4.2 volts, a result that is in line with tolerance from a previous EV grid test. I have no clue what that means, but this news sent up MU quite a bit. So I think it's just saying battery test results surpass expectations. That's like the headline. So big move. This was a name that we were actually talking about all the way up over here until it ended up cracking the support and breaking down. This was actually a swing that failed. I learned this as a swing like around over here, and the stop loss was around over here. So I mean, it's still much lower than when the swing stopped out, but today alone it did have a pretty nice day. And I don't know if this one has a short interest. I feel like I remember it having a larger one. I don't remember. I can't see it on FinBiz. But yeah, this name caught a lot of attention today. In terms of the chart, it looks like I've already got a bunch of levels charted out. As you can see, I've got a lot of them charted here. So these are all the levels I have in terms of resistance, and it looks like even well before this news today did break out of this like wedge over here and then just kind of consolidated until the news did come out today and sent it much higher. I'm not sure if it's anything after hours. We can take a look. Looks like one actually up a little bit more after hours. So I'm sure this is a name that a lot of day traders are going to be watching tomorrow. I don't really like talking too much about day trades the night before on stream. I kind of like keeping it like swing oriented. But yeah, that was another name today that caught a lot of attention. So we can go over the swings now, and then we'll do take requests for the rest of the stream. So yeah, we're going to be looking at CLOV. Actually next, Danny, IMER repair says MULN and Tesla. We'll look at Tesla, I'm sure, in a little bit. So yeah, take requests, give me like 2 or 3 minutes. I just need to talk about the swings, and we'll look at them. So yeah, I mean, on the sheet right now, as you can see over here, most of it's just premium. The only like technical ongoing swing trades outside of premium are QS, which is up, CLOV, which is down a little bit, and then the Dogecoin crypto alert. This is mainly due to the fact that GameStop hit like a 51% target last week. AMC hit the second target today for a 38% profit, and Zoom also hit where is it? Wow. 15% profit. So we're going to look at all those, but those swings were taken off the sheet, but they still have more targets. So we're going to get to all of them. We're going to start off with the ongoing trades that have yet to hit the targets or the stops. CLOV, flat day today. CLOV is just in consolidation mode. I don't think there's any point in trying to like overthink this. We talked about this last night. Same thing. Hopefully, we can get above 3 before falling under 2.5. That's as simple as it is, in my opinion. I mean, maybe you could try and trade this choppiness over here, but for me, I'm just waiting to see what the next larger move is, and then I'll kind of reassess. Right now, it's just been going sideways for quite a while. It's honestly kind of like an inverse head and shoulders inside of an inverse head and shoulders. Take a look at this. I mean, you got like this little inverse head and shoulders pattern inside of this larger inverse head and shoulders pattern. It's kind of inverse head and shoulders inception, but still not a lot going on here. Just waiting for a little bit more of a move. Maybe you could actually look at it like this though on lower time frames. If you remember this wedge from last week, it might be creating a little bit a little, can't even talk. We might be creating a little bit of a new pattern here. Charter like this, maybe just keep an eye on that. But that's really it for CLOV tonight. QS was down a few percent today, but it's currently up a few percent since the entry of the swing. It's in a very long-term falling wedge. All that matters is where this ends up. I don't really think there's any point in trying to zoom in too much to the QS swing right now, just giving it some time. In terms of the swings that already hit targets, they're pulling back. GAMC pretty, not GAMC, sorry, I didn't even mean to say that. I was trying to say AMC and GameStop at the same time, and I just obliterated that. But GME pretty much hit that second target, pulled back, and that's what you can expect, right? It got up to like 149. Target was around 150. The second one pretty much was at 51% profit at the high. You had resistance around the 200-day moving average, and now you're pulling back a little bit. It would be interesting if it could hold this little these highs over here from February as support. I know if you watched last night's stream, you were actually looking at it like this, and it just kind of dumped right at the open. My alert went off, but I was like sleeping. So remember, if you watched last stream, I set like an alert like over here and over here to either direction, and I guess provided the downside intraday move. But yeah, not much of an update. That's already hit 2 targets. Zoom hit the first target, and it's actually holding not only for 1 day but for 2 days. The first target as a support, it's holding 105-ish, so hopefully it can keep doing that. But it did have a bearish engulfing candle today, so keep in mind that. AMC, okay, for real this time, hit the second target this morning for a 38% gain. It was actually up about 40% at the highs. This was literally last week, okay? This is for free for all of you in the Discord. Link for that's in the description. This was literally last week, and today it hit the second target for a 38% gain. That's why the target was here. You had resistance at this level. You showed resistance there. You pulled back. It's really not that complicated. I think we literally talked about this last night. I literally said almost word for word, above 15, your next level is 1620-ish. You went to 1613, but it's still really close. So it's just following the levels. Hopefully you can stay above this lower blue zone over here. And that is AMC. And then Fisker finally filled the gap this morning. The gap we talked about last night. Wow, it actually filled both gaps. It's actually crazy. Last night we talked about this gap over here and this gap over here. And Fisker opened over here, filled the upper gap, this one. Then it sold off and filled the lower gap. So Fisker was just kind of playing ping pong today, it looks like. So at least your gaps are filled. And hopefully you can just hold this little 960, or not little, but large 960 to like 1030-ish zone. So those are your swing updates. Most of them already hit targets except for CLOV and QS, but just want to give updates on the others. Hopefully they can keep hitting more targets. So that's where we're at. Rest of the stream is just for all of you. All right, now is the time. I know a lot of you already dropped tickers in the chat. I don't know if some of you dropped the tickers and left. Now is the time to drop ticker requests in the chat. So if you're watching right now and you want me to look at a ticker for you, just drop it in the chat, and that's what we're gonna do for the rest of the stream. So yeah. Larry says, why did I try to zoom his chart on my phone? Anybody watch Top Gun this weekend? What did you think? Larry, we already looked at QQQ. It's going to be in the timestamps. The timestamps are always posted over here after the stream is over in the Discord. So it'll be under this stock market section. The timestamp should be up about 10 to 15 minutes after the stream ends. So yeah, we did look at QQQ. All right, so all right, let's get started. Let's start off with PayPal. Why am I so confused right now? Where was PayPal at? All right, I think I got it now. Apple, we did not look at Apple, so we can look at Apple and also Tesla. Look at those first. I was gonna say something else. I don't know. Mine War says Top Gun was awesome. Zeke says no, but it's all over social media. Apparently, they did really, really good for the opening weekend. I think Cheddar shared it somewhere in here. There we go.
What this is
Setting a new record in the process. Made an estimated $156 million domestically for its 4-day opening weekend. Technically, they did get an extra day, but this gives the film the record for the biggest opening over over the Memorial Day holiday weekend, overtaking Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End, which made $153 million in 2007. Analysts forecasted that they're talking about this like it's a stock or something, but analysts forecasted the film to make closer to $80 million for its weekend opening and $150 million over the 4-day holiday. It's easily Cruise's biggest debut at the box office over his 40-year career and marks the star's first $100 million opening. Wow. Also, I'm not great at reading and talking at the same time, as you can tell. All right, so Tesla. Not much from today. This was actually the one failed premium alert today. I alerted some Tesla puts. I alerted the puts right here, and they got stopped out here. It was just literally just a horrible trade. That's just the fact of the matter. And then it ended up selling off. I had actually a pretty rough streak between Friday and the Tesla puts today. I was able to get some nice call alerts out on SPY. Well, it started off rough, and then SPY ended up playing out on Penn went up first, but it's not really confirmed on the sheet yet. And then AMD, I shared some calls. Those were nice today. But yeah, Tesla right now going into tomorrow, it does have this 15-minute bearish shark. It hit the PCZ, got first reaction and a second reaction. And this is also at a resistance zone. So I think short term, I'm a little bit bearish on Tesla. Long term, I really like how, again, we were talking about the 622 level when it was up here before it even dropped down here. This was dating back to these lows over here. Huge bounce off that level. Now it's getting closer to resistance. We'll see which way it decides to go to next. Just watch the levels. Apple, we talked about this 150 level last night. I believe it was your lows from over here. That's acting as some short-term resistance above 150. That could maybe set up a move to back test this really long-term trend line if you can crack above it, and then we'll see what happens. If you can't hold above 150-ish, then you've got a gap fill at around 144. PayPal flat today. It's got some classic bullish divergence on the daily. Probably draw a demand line over here. Kind of like a wedge that already broke out, pretty much. I've already got levels charted, and yeah, it looks very similar to the ARK ETF long term. I mean, there's not much else to say. You can maybe even draw a supply line like this that you're just now breaking out of. I mean, if you look at it like this, then it's kind of in this downsloping channel that it broke out of last week. NVIDIA, so I have these two zones on the 1-hour chart. This first one, it was resistance, now it could be support, and the second one is your next resistance.
Thanks for all you do.
Me Tenderfoot, thank you for the $8 tip. 786, so that's the Fibonacci tip. All right, so thank you for this tip. Really appreciate it. Let's get some vibes in the chat for me Tenderfoot, always supporting, dropping words of wisdom. Really appreciate you. Thank you very much. First tip of the night. So yeah, NVIDIA support around 180 to 183, 184. Resistance around 200. Yeah, it's also a gap fill level. FUBO had a bearish engulfing candle today. It does have this gap fill at almost $4, but short term, it's just in a range over here. Okay. Short term, it's in a range between 275-ish and 365-ish. EGY. Let me go all the way to the weekly for this one, because daily it's just been going straight up. So it looks like some resistance around 830-ish on the weekly, then a little bit more around 960, then some around 1038. In terms of potential support, very choppy, but I see all the way down to $6. So those are your levels on the weekly. On the daily, it's just kind of going parabolic, right? And I don't actually like try and draw these to trade them. It's just a way to visualize the price action. But this is kind of like a rounding bottom, you know, maybe it does show a little bit of resistance over here. Who knows, maybe it turns into a cup and handle. It's not a cup and handle currently, but maybe it does create that handle. We'll see what happens. OUST. MACDs just crossed over to green. You are testing a breakout of a supply line. These are some short-term bullish reversal indicators. Long-term, however, your trend is bad, to say the least. And then maybe like on the weekly, you could just look at this as like one like a large wedge, which you're still very much within. That's how I chart it. It's a smaller channel within a long-term wedge. Nice MACD crossover, a little bit of classic bullish divergence on the RSI. If you ever get confused by any of the terms I use, watch the free course links in the description. TTD. This kind of like a dragon pattern over here that you're testing a breakout of. Even if you don't want to look like that, it could just be looked at as a wedge. So this is testing a breakout. I think a key level is around 47.50-ish from these lows last summer, about a year ago. And then resistance up around $67. So that's where you're currently at. Make or break area is the supply line, and then larger levels are 47.50, 67. AVCT, very long-term channel breakout, really hasn't meant much. And then short-term, you could probably chart this, which again is just testing a breakout of. Very, very choppy chart though. So this is, you know, not an easy name for me to chart. There's a lot of volatility here. It just doesn't really look like something that consistently would follow technicals. And then Neo, this is a premium swing that already hit first target a while back, but now it's re-hitting the first target. Still, I mean, if you zoom out on Neo, it's like this large scuffed bullish bat. It's broken this critical green supply line. I do have some resistance charted here around 18, above 18, then 21's next level I've got. All right, so that's Neo. Me 10 foot earlier said AMC breaking out of a wedge, LFG Top Gun. Take a look at this on the weekly. I don't know if you're talking about this, but on the weekly, it does look like it is breaking out of a major, like literally this wedge has been created since AMC had the epic squeeze. And it's now, this is the first time, I mean, technically the second time, it kind of broke out of it, played out in like 1 week, and then came back inside the wedge. I actually remember this very well, but yeah, just kind of breaking out of it. And look at the zone it's suing at. What was once support in 2017 and resistance in 2019 is now support again. Very interesting. Yeah, we looked at PayPal, that'll be in the timestamps. Baba looks like it's testing a breakout of this enormous falling wedge. I mean, look at this. These are like the structures that I want you all to be requesting. This could be epic. I'm not really too caught up with everything going on fundamentally with Baba and just in China in general, but I mean, look at this. These are the types of patterns that could like create major trades. Again, I'm not saying it's going to happen on this exact one. It's never a certainty, but looking for these types of setups time and time again. This is high quality Volkowski type stuff, okay?
Thanks for the ta, bro.
No problem. I hope you're enjoying the ta. But yeah, Corey, appreciate you very much. Thank you very much for the $20. Really appreciate you. Vibes in the chat for Corey. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate all the support. And I'll keep up the ta. I'll keep it up, all right? I want to hear it say that one more time.
Thanks for the ta, bro.
Alright, but yeah, thank you very much, Corey. Let me also, actually one more thing. On the weekly, Baba is like one major bullish shark. And just look at this, right? Let's just delete all of this and just look at this on the weekly, okay? Start your supply line at the top, drag it down. You're literally testing the breakout of this resistance you've seen since pretty much elections in 2020. And then moving over to Netflix. Should be interested to see if Netflix is a harmonic. I mean, you could chart this in many different ways. Let's just have some fun here. Let's say we start over here. Nah, the C point's way too deep. But if this was like a 1618 from A to C, that could have been a shark. Well, kind of. I think the B to D was all. Actually, I don't know if that matters on a shark. But let's just ignore that for now. On the daily, this wedge breakout's playing out. We charted this a couple weeks back. I just focus on levels. Let me actually chart some levels here. We're going to chart them on the weekly. Alright, so I just focus on levels at this point for Netflix. FUBO we looked at. We can look at Tattooed Chef though. Yeah, keep hitting the like button if you didn't already. Check out the links in the description. Tattooed Chef's got some classic bullish divergence on the weekly. Moving over to the daily. Probably draw a supply line like this. Another name in a huge falling wedge. Even more short term on the 4 hour. It's kind of like an Adam and Eve double bottom, which is pretty much a V-shaped bottom followed by a rounding bottom. All right, so Adam and Eve double bottom. Pretty much, it's not great. I mean, typically, for it to be more textbook, it would go like this. That would be like a more textbook. This is like a scuffed version. But yeah, I think like even more short term, you've got a little bit of resistance here around like 730 to 740 ish. Breaking above that, then you got like 840 ish as your next level. I see on the 4 hours. So that's Tattooed Chef. So yeah, any more take requests, let me know. Drop them in the chat. Again, I said tonight's stream, just you guys are running it. I'm just moving buttons on the chart. But I really had nothing to talk about tonight because today was just a very boring day for the market. But these are the types of days where you could just spend time running through a bunch of charts and find the potential for when the market's not boring, right? RIVN, I've been seeing so many like not ads but like social media posts about RIVN. Like on Instagram, my whole entire like explore page is like literally Ford Broncos and RIVN trucks. But yeah, I mean, it broke out of this long-term wedge. It's been moving up since. I do see some resistance here from this low in March between 30 to pretty much like just the mid-30s. It was also shown as resistance in the beginning of this month on lower time frames. 1 hour, you probably chart a little bit of an upsloping channel here. I would not call it a bear flag. I'd say it's a little bit too large for a bear flag. But I mean, and also that could be debated because if you zoom out, then maybe it could be looked at as one. But short term, I just focus on the domain line, hope that it holds it. And yeah, it's RIVN. Alright, have you covered RKLB, rocket company with working rockets, long-term SpaceX competition? I'm not too familiar. We looked at RKLB, I know that for sure, but I'm not too familiar with the actual company. So yeah, you can see I've looked at it before. Still in just a very long-term downsloping wedge channel. Got some levels charted. You've also got a level at 760-ish. More short-term and creating like this that you just broke out of. You have a little bit of a short-term. So in your long-term channel, you have a short-term channel. You have not broken out of your long-term channel, but you are breaking out of your short-term channel. So, yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think Vibe is actually a ticker. Actually, it is. So you asked to look at Vibe. We're going to look at Vibe now, Seek. All right, we're going to see how the vibes are. Vibe Growth Corporation. Unfortunately, the vibes are getting demolished. It looks like the vibes are really, really high about a year ago. Honestly, like I'm not even trying to like. I'm just being straightforward. Like this is actually pretty like spot on. It's really weird. Like I feel like exactly a year ago, this is when like ARK was topping out and like there was like 70, 80 people in here every night and like the chat was just going crazy. And now it's like, you know, around 20. And again, I love you 20 that are watching live, but for those of you watching the replay, I love you too, but I just enjoy when there's like more people in the stream. But yeah, the vibes are a little bit low, I'm not gonna lie. Again, I'm not complaining. I so appreciate all of you supporting me. I'm just saying, I'm a man of vibes, all right? I'm a man of vibes, okay? So we gotta get those vibes up. Let's see, maybe we're gonna be getting a bullish reversal soon. It's like kind of like this major wedge and you're like right at the apex of it, so All right, see what happens. But obviously not financial advice for whatever this actually is. I'm just making a joke, but yeah. Love your thoughts on the US 10-year. Look sideways for a bit within an uptrend. Yeah. I'm Yard Paris is still your champ. Don't be down. I'm not down. I'm not down. Again, I'm just a very realistic person. Like, it's just facts. But again, like, you all are watching the streams. I'm still the same person. All right. So, any other tickers you all want to look at? I will say one thing though. Like, whenever we get these types of vibes again, those of you who are here over here, you're the real ones. And I won't forget that. Thoughts on oil and XLE potentially pulling back? We'll go take a look at it in a second. Nope. All right, great. Thanks, you got me. Snap. I think a lot of those people were CLOV fans. Yeah, definitely a lot of people were CLOV fans, and I still have a lot of people support me that still are CLOV fans. But I'm talking about even like well before like CLOV, like last summer. I'm talking like the GameStop, AMC type days. And again, those are very, very unique situations in the market, of course. Once Fisker jumps 300%, people will come back. Just remember, okay, Fisker is in a major falling wedge on the weekly. Every single time it's hit this blue zone around $8 to $9, it's been a major bottom. It's got classic bullish divergence. It printed a bullish pin bar candle at the bottom. Just remember, if we're gonna repeat history and we're back up over here, that U19, we're watching it with me down over here. We'll see though, we'll see. Snap, that huge gap down last week, and zoom back in. Looks like, why did I chart this? I think this, I don't know, but all right. It looks, did it fill this gap? So there's a gap fill around $13. Yeah, pretty much filled this gap way back from like a year ago. It's in the middle of nowhere right now. These are levels I take a look at on Snapchat. XLE. Largest red candle in a long time. Let's see if we can rechart this. I still think it's above the supply line. Like, I think this is a valid supply line. If you want to just really tailor it towards this, maybe look at it like this instead. That, I don't know, it's just really extreme. I'd probably just forget that. Just chart this trend line, see how it reacts to it. Probably chart it even a little bit better than I am. Like that, maybe. You do have some triple classic bearish divergence on XLE on the 4-hour. The overall trend is still, you know, straight up pretty much. We'll see what happens over time, but I just probably focus on this trend line for right now. And thank you for dropping the vibes in the chat, Tenderfoot and Zeke. I really appreciate you. Amazon, we already looked at Amazon. It'll be in the timestamps. A lot of different levels you can chart here. These are all the levels I got for DIDI. Bearish engulfing candle today. You do have this gap fill around 185-ish. You know, maybe it decides to fill that gap, turns into like a handle. We'll see what happens. I think it needs more data for me to be able to, I can't ever tell for sure, but for me to get a better edge. Solana. basically like one huge bullish shark. And you've got a double bottom at the PCC. And pretty close to testing a breakout of however you want to look at this, a wedge, a broadening wedge, I don't know. And this is all occurring at what was once a major area from last year, literally. So this is, in my opinion, pretty interesting area. It's definitely not risk-free. Everything always has risk if it's moving, but that's where you're currently at. EARA, Paramount Global. You know, I kind of have this supply line chart like this from these two highs and this high. If you chart it like that, it's breaking out. If you don't chart it like that, then maybe it could be charted like this. But it is testing the 200-day moving average. Keep an eye on that. And in terms of levels, those are some levels. Mara on the daily, it's like it gapped up and then filled the gap intraday. It did break out of this like down sloping channel very recently, and again we talked about Bitcoin in the beginning of the stream making this little breakout test. As you can see over here, it's currently testing it on the daily, so I'd probably focus more on Bitcoin, but of course, you know, these aren't literally Bitcoin even though they move very similar to it. So that's really where you're at. Those are some levels. There's also a gap fill around 1450-ish, and then RIOT 614, very key level. It was pretty much your lows in May twice, but also if we go back in time, look at this. This was support in March 2018, resistance in April 2019. You spent a couple days holding it in November of 2020, very key level over here. So that's RIOT. All right, so there's that. Disney. ROKU. Keep in the like button if you're watching the stream. Alright.
You are not aware of the present. You know, the present is represented on your
Disney, I think I sent this recently on a premium watch list. Breaking out of this descending broadening wedge, classic bullish divergence. Bounced pretty much off this $99 or $100 support. Double bottom there, actually. It looks interesting. It's kind of gone, you know, it's gapped up for like, actually like, yeah, 1, 2, 3 days. So at some point it might give a short-term pullback, but longer term, I like Disney here. I actually do. Not financial advice, but maybe you could even look at this. It's not a textbook harmonic, but it's got the formations. Nothing textbook, but close to a bat. Just a few points are a little bit off, and you do have some classic bullish divergence on the weekly as well. You were just oversold for the first time since the COVID crash. I mean, this is a major area that you were holding before the COVID crash. Very interesting area for Disney, in my opinion. Hopefully, again, you can just hold these lows you've held for pretty much this whole entire month, around 99. Roku, testing a breakout of the supply line, still has some resistance around 101. Very key level, 101. Above that could get really interesting. Then there's not much till like 140-ish. And then support, if it can't do that, well, you've got a gap fill at 89, and then some support potentially around 75-ish. Thank you, Tenno. Sorry for mispronouncing that for a subscription. Yeah, for anybody who asked for a ticker that I said we've already looked at, remember it's going to be in the timestamps. If you want the timestamps, follow me on Twitter at ChampionVibe. You can see that under the chat on the screen, like down there, or join the Discord. The link for that's in the description, and the timestamps will be shared over here in 10 to 15 minutes after the stream. All right. Future is still up about 0.5%. Nice move there. All right, so we've looked at a lot of charts tonight. How long have I been live for? Almost an hour. I think that'll be it for tonight. A lot of, especially on like a quiet day for the market. A lot of work was done tonight, so hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned something. Check out the links in the description. Hit the like button if you're not subscribed. I literally have no clue what you're doing. All right, if you're not subscribed right now, yeah, I don't even know what to tell you. Like that's just, I'm not disappointed at you, but you should just be disappointed at yourself. That's just how it is, all right? And if you are subscribed, then I am very proud of you, and you should also be very proud of yourself, okay? So have a good night. Thank you for watching the stream. See you all tomorrow. Peace out.